Caitlyn Jenner stepping out for the first time in the pages of Vanity Fair and in spectacular fashion for photographer Annie Leibovitz.
Bruce always had to tell a lie. Caitlyn doesn't have any secrets. I'm free.
Free, say some, to become, among other things, a fashion influence, a vivid representation of inner strength and late-in-life confidence, all while wearing such A-list designers as Badgley Mischka, Zac Posen, and Donna Karan. For Caitlyn, that confidence is hard-won, telling Vanity Fair she had a panic attack after facial feminization surgery and breast augmentation on March 15th, reaching out to a counselor for guidance and reassurance. To ABC's Diane Sawyer, Jenner had confessed another deep fear.
Were you terrified to tell your children?
Yes, every one of them. Why? Those are the only ones I'm concerned with, and the only ones in my life that I can't allow to, I can't let myself hurt them.
Jenner's daughter Cassandra telling the magazine she fretted before meeting Caitlyn for the first time at a girls' night. I was just nervous that I wouldn't make her feel comfortable, Cassandra recalled, adding, "We talked more than we ever have. We could just be girls together." Caitlyn also addressing questions about her sexuality in Vanity Fair, with something of a shrug. If you have a list of 10 reasons to transition, sex would be number 10. That answer building on Jenner's words to ABC.
Are you a lesbian? Are you a heterosexual who...
He is a transgender female who likes females, but if we accept him as a her, then he's a lesbian. It's confusion. That's why God called it abomination. I had the privilege of talking with this guy, Walt Heyer. Walt, like Bruce, had gotten married. He had children, and then later on in his life, he said he felt like a female. So Walt divorced his wife, left his children, and got a sex reassignment surgery. 2 or 3 years into that mistake, he found out that it was a mistake. So now he has a ministry to help people who are confused, because he says that he was living a lie. The problem, this is him now, this was him when he made a mistake, but when he went back to this, he lost everything because he went through the sex reassignment surgery. He can't get it back. But the blessing is God restored him in his right mind. He says, in order to be part of the transgender crowd, men must meet certain criteria. We have to have more dominant female features. In other words, look more like a woman than she actually does. So we had to have bigger breasts, more shapely hips, flawless complexion, etc. In order to keep up, I had to buy the most expensive creams, take a regimen of hormone pills, just take all your life, do my makeup in the mirror for hours. It took me a long time to fix myself up and keep up with the beauty regimen, especially since I was not a woman. So although I look better than most of the women out there, and I tell you young guys, Mac Daddy, you better be careful you hitting on.
Yes, sir.
It was a charade, he says, because I was not even a woman to begin with, and it took so long for me to look like one. Going to a bar or party as a woman was hard work. The performance was an everyday lie. And that's how it is with everyone with a transgender. It's a lie. But when we support them, when we enable them, we are working with Satan to keep them in that bondage. That's why, my brothers and sisters, and I tell people in the church, there are 3 things that govern our actions. It's culture, custom, or kingdom. Too many church folks, black folks, are going by custom or culture. But when we start becoming kingdom-minded, custom and culture gets laid down. They're loud. I'm black and I'm brown. That was my culture. But when I became kingdom-minded, my whole purpose is to bring God glory. Amen. God didn't make it but one race, the human race. That's right. And I'm not going to get too much of my soapbox, but I want you all to understand there is a difference between doing what you're doing because of culture or custom, and doing what you're doing because of the kingdom. Right. God said, become what kind of creature? A new creature. Behold, all things have what? How many things become new? All things.
You look at me now, I'm back to being who God wanted me to be as a man, and it doesn't really matter what I got between my legs because no one's going to see it anyway. And I've been reading my Bible every day, and all I could hear was God saying, well, you really need to go back to being who I made you. And your story is great, but just don't do it as a girl, because you're not a girl. And I know that. It just tears me up to think that I did all this, and I was a phony, I was a fraud, but I tried pulling it off. And people called me ma'am and she and her, and you know, I had my long hair. I didn't wear much makeup. As you can see, I got lip liner, I had the eyebrows tattooed, which now I got to live this way, but it's a great testimony, and I just want to try to help someone else before they make the same mistake I did. Everybody I told I was getting a sex change and blah blah blah, they all said, "Oh, if that's what you think is right, then go ahead and do it." You know, if you feel good about it, you know, if that's what you want, go do it. And how can that happen when you're supposed to be accountable for your brothers and sisters and help them out, according to what I read? And they didn't do it. They did not do it. And to this day, they thought I was going to be a disgrace to them. That's why they didn't do anything. They just told me there's the door. I said, okay, you know. But I always thought I needed to be important. And that's another reason, all the tattoos and the piercings, I thought, oh, I'm going to be somebody someday. I want to be famous, you know. But now, I do want to be famous. But I want to be famous for God. And I want to take everybody down the path that needs help. Please listen to this, because without the Lord, you'll have nothing. You'll have nothing. You know, He's the vine and we're the branches, and we can do nothing without Him. But the whole thing is why most people will not go to any of these things, because it's all about the embarrassment. You are so embarrassed with what you've been doing that you can't tell anybody that. And that's what I kept a secret for all those years. I couldn't tell nobody. I was too embarrassed. But you have to stop. You have to stop and get help, because you're going to destroy your life. You're going to destroy the life of your friends, your spouse, whoever it may be, because this is the worst thing that I think that anybody could do, is get involved in the sex industry or business or whatever. It destroyed me, but praise God, I'm set free now, and I'm happy as can be. I am so happy, it's overjoyed, you know, because my life now is like over the top. I have nothing, but I have everything, if that makes sense. I have Jesus.
Can I be upfront with you all? We all came from the black community, right? We all know what racism is all about. We all know what prejudice is all about. I've experienced, you experience it. Don't let that reality drive you to support something that you know God ain't for. Please. Black folks, the Democratic Party, the NAACP, we think they're for us. And I'm not saying they're not doing anything for us, but I'm saying when they're supporting this, my brothers and sisters, that's not for our people. It's too many of our people being corrupted. Too many of our children being messed up because of that. We've got to be brave and say, no more. Why? Because it's corrupting our children. This is Will Smith's son. He is now the model for one of the major clothes manufacturers in wearing a female apparel designed for men. He's messed up. That's sad. And how in the world could he and his mother and father even support that? Y'all heard of Morehouse College? What is Morehouse? All-male college, prestige for black, right? This is in 2009 now. What year is this? 2016. Atlanta, Georgia. All-male college in Atlanta has banned the wearing of women's clothes makeup, high heels, and purses as part of a new crackdown on what the institution calls inappropriate attire. What's happening, so many of our young black men are being effeminated by the enemy. It got so prolific that they had to ban them wearing women's clothes at an all-male college. That's insanity. And that's in 2009. It's 2016 now. What am I telling you all? I'm saying that the culture is being leavened all around us, under our nose, and the church ain't doing nothing about it. We got to change.
There is an odd new trend playing out on the campus of Tennessee State University. Instead of pledging fraternities, men are forming underground sororities. And the women who consider their sisterhood sacred are not amused. Channel 4's Darian Trotter is live at TSU with this unusual story.
And Dimitri, it certainly has been a talker this week on campus, and here's why. At least one student has been suspended from his job on campus. Another student has stopped going to class, and it's all because a group of men decided to pledge pink and green. Welcome to an underground world, a dark side of Greek life. One so taboo, members of the sororities imitated would rather act as if their imposters don't exist.
It's been men deltas and men AKAs and men zetas for a while.
That's right, men who pledge sororities. They often go through the same sacred rituals as their female counterparts and wear the same Greek colors and paraphernalia.
To me, it's like a violation.
Amy Gardner is a member of Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated. She thinks men prancing around, posing as sorority sisters, is an outrage.
Because a sorority is for women and a fraternity is for men.
But male sororities are real and have been for years.
Is that an outrage? Yes. Those men who are now stuck in that demonic mindset, unless God changes it, will never be a father of a family. So what the devil is doing, everyone he gets stuck in this mindset, he now said, I'll be eliminated a family. God said, be fruitful land. The devil said, I'm going to stop it. And people don't understand, this is how he's stopping it. In the scriptures, there was a real premium put on the genealogy. Any of y'all ever read Chronicles? Did you stay awake when you read it? He begot this, he begot that. I mean, so, genealogy. God put a premium on that. Satan said, in order for me to stop that, I get people stuck in this right here. That's why we can't keep enabling people. Indoctrination of our children. You ever heard of a company called Discovery and Hasbro? Discovery and Hasbro are two major companies that are involved in the education of our babies, of our children. Hasbro is a great big old toy company. Discovery, you know, had those shows on TV. Together, they brought in a show called Shizo. Anybody heard of that cartoon called Shizo? And I ask people, don't take my word for it, write it down, do your own research. Because I can come in here and tell you all a bunch of lies, but you see it happening. And let me say this. I know this represents a small portion of your church. I hope after today you will go and tell other people, because what I encourage you all to do, get them to study this. Let them do their research and then let them do a presentation. Because when they study it and they see what's really going on, they won't fall for the lie. Shizo.
She's out, horses on, but she's out now.
Suppose grandson, boy, he say, well, granddad, I want to be Shizo. What you tell him? So he's a boy too. It's confusion. But major companies have brought that cartoon here not for a reason. Remember now, I tell people that we need to understand everybody ain't for the church. And really, what I'm showing you are the demonic movement to kill, steal, and destroy. I'm showing you how it's being done.
Get the traffic moving again there.
Well, a lot of outrage about this next story. We first told you yesterday about Dr. Norman Spack. He is a pediatric specialist at Boston's Children's Hospital. This is one of the most respected institutions in the world. This guy is offering sex change treatments to children as young as 7 years old. 7. Joining us now with more is Brian Kamenker, president of Mass Resistance, which has been working to put a stop to this. Brian, thanks for being here.
Great to be here with you, Megan.
All right, so just so we don't want to mislead our viewers, he's not giving sex change operations to these young children. He's giving them drugs when they're prepubescent to delay puberty, and he's giving teenagers hormone therapy to stop the development of female sex organs and so on, the breast for women and so on.
He's doing this so they can have sex change operations later. As he told the Boston Globe, he claims and he says that he can take a boy who would be 6'4" and turn him into a 5'10" girl. And so they actually do body mutilations. The reason they do these hormones is to stop the puberty so that the body mutilations will be easier in a few years.
Brian, we got more email on this. People are outraged that, I mean, parents have to consent before these children can be given these drugs. They say, look, I didn't know what else to do. My child was so miserable that he was suicidal, and this doctor helped. How do you respond to that?
Well, you know, they're getting a lot of bad information. Let's understand two things. Number one, the mental health profession and the DSM manual for it, which we have a link to on our website, massresistance.org, calls this a gender identity disorder. This is a mental illness, and you have to deal with it that way according to the mental health profession, not mutilate a body. And the other thing is, this is a political movement. They are pushing this. We have on our website a pamphlet, you know, that was given to kids at my own kids' public school on transgenderism and promoting it. And
how early? 70 years old. I'm showing you our culture. See, it's a lot bigger than a man using a girl's bathroom. The culture is messed up. And really, we're seeing what Satan is doing to destroy the family. That's why it's so important that we, who are supposed to be enlightened ones, know what's going on so we can step against this stuff. Can you imagine a 7-year-old being confused, and you are enabling that confusion by giving him or her drugs so they would not, so that their normal process of development would not be seen? That's demonic, y'all. That's really child abuse. But what they're doing in our culture, they're saying that is the new normal. Boston Children's Hospital is one of the major hospitals in America, if not the world. And instead of criminalizing that activity, they're supporting it through government funding.
A while ago, something that a lot of you will be talking about tomorrow, the Spirit Day theme at one elementary school in Milwaukee, causing a bit of a controversy.
Yeah, that's right. Myra Sanchik live outside at Tippecanoe Elementaries on the city's south side with details of this story. Let's try it again, Myra.
Yeah, well, as I was saying before, Tippecanoe has had Spirit Days all week long. They've had things like Crazy Hair Day, but the kind of day they had today was a bit more controversial.
Don't listen.
This mom, who did not want to be identified, got the flyer from school last week announcing that this Friday would be Gender Bender Day. Boys dress up like girls, girls dress up like boys.
I was speechless, actually.
She kept her son home from school Friday, as did a few others.
He said, no, I have to go to school because the principal said we have to dress like a girl.
Milwaukee Public Schools says it's all voluntary. But this mom doesn't want her child to be put into a position of not participating either.
They're so young.
After the mom complained, the principal changed the name of the day to Switch It Up Day. School board member Terrence Falk told me those creating this controversy are using the kids for political purposes. Falk says, quote, my son-in-law remembers having the same kind of day in Lutheran school in Sheboygan. This is nothing new. I don't think the kids were thinking about sexual orientation. This man says he doesn't want his son to dress as a girl.
I think it's just teaching the wrong lesson about gender. You know, if you're a boy, stay a boy. You shouldn't have nothing like that done in school.
I do not want to send my kid to school dressed as a girl. As simple as that. He's only 7 years old.
That is not political. It's demonic. God says it's an abomination. A lot of Christian folk don't even understand, don't even know that. And so they're allowing their kids to be leavened or to be corrupted by these things, because that makes them think about what I may not be who I think I am. As a matter of fact, in public schools across the country, they call it gender fluidity. Schools teach kids there's no such thing as boys or girls. One of the nation's largest public school system is preparing to include gender identity into its classroom curriculum, including lessons on sexual fluidity and spectrum. The idea that there's no such thing as 100% boys or 100% girls is what they're teaching these kids. God says it's male or female and there's none other.
Public schools in Fairfax County, Virginia are preparing to include gender identity in its curriculum for grades 7 through 12. The family life education lessons will include teachings on heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, and transgender identity. Andrea Lafferty of Traditional Values Coalition joins us from our Washington bureau to talk more about this controversial subject. Andrea, thanks for joining us.
It's great to be with you. Thank you.
First of all, tell us about this curriculum and the motivation behind it.
Well, it's interesting. The school board voted earlier in May to add gender identity. It's not a part of the state law. It's not a part of the state school board instruction, but they've decided to add it against the will of many of the parents. And so now what we're dealing with is a vote on the family life education. Now, while we're talking specifically about Fairfax, I think it's important for people to understand this is happening across the country. So I may talk about Virginia, but listen carefully for your own community.
Wow. Well, how will this curriculum impact the students?
Well, it's very interesting. Right now, what will happen is, starting in kindergarten, they'll talk to them about same-sex or gay marriage. And the parents will not be able to opt out. One of the big issues is, in Virginia, parents can opt their children out of certain parts of the, quote, family life education. And so now what they're doing is they're trying to move parts of it from FLE, family life education, to health, which means the parents cannot opt their children out. And so we've been poring over the regulations and the information to see exactly what's happening. But we are very, very concerned that they are doing it here in Fairfax County and perhaps other places without the parents' knowledge or consent.
What's happening in America is they are, again, this is a demonic movement, so I'm not dealing with people, I'm dealing with the devil himself and his demons. They are making sure that our kids are exposed to the normalcy or the new normal of gender identity, which means that your birth assignment does not matter.